What's up, YouTube? Day 12 of the October Horror Movie Challenge. Just plodding along, 5 films in today. One of my better days of the month so far. First film I started with was Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich, which is the newest Puppet Master movie. One thing about it that I kind of liked was they went out and actually got decent actors, or not like B-string players like they have in the past couple films. They're all direct to video, but the past couple were kind of like under the radar. This one kind of had a little bit of a buzz to it when it came out, and they cast a guy from Reno 911, and then one of the secondary actors, can't think of his name, but he's from Veep, and a couple other like indie comedy shows. Plus, then you have horror like stars like Barbara Crampton and who's the other one? Udo Kier, I think, was in it, and it's better than the last couple, like the very schlocky B ones. Like, this one doesn't take itself serious, but it does kind of like amp it up a little bit. The gore is outstanding, and I mean, there's some crazy scenes. The Achilles heel getting sliced, which is a gag that's been done in quite a bit of movies, but done very well here again. I like the storyline. I like that they kind of changed the mythos up a little bit. It feels like it's not following directly. Obviously, when you watch it, you'll catch some stuff, but a lot of it is brought back to just the puppets wrecking house, basically. There's a couple films in there where like the puppets felt like they're almost like on the good side. This one, it's back to the basics. It's puppets just killing people left and right, and any way they can. There's one scene that's going to get everybody talking. Not trying to spoil anything, but if you watch the film, you'll know what scene it is. It's a little over the top, right? Like, punches you right in the face with it. I mean, it's hit or miss. I think the film would have been fine without it, but it is what it is. It's not a bad scene, like in the sense of it's done well. I mean, it's a little goofy, but it's done well. So all in all, I like that. I like the Puppet Master franchise. Like I said, the last couple were iffy at best. Like the whole Nazis and Axis and Allies type movies, they were just kind of goofy. But this one, I know they're still going with the Nazi theme, but they just brought it back, and it felt like more of a straight Puppet Master film. So I'd give it a 6 out of 10. I'd probably give it a 5.5 out of 10, but it was a fun watch. So I'd bump it up a little bit, just like I'd rewatch it. Like, it's definitely, like I said, one of the better Puppet Master entries. So second film, keeping it with like the B movie. That's Larry Cohen's Cue the Winged Serpent. Now, I've seen this like twice before in my life, and the one thing that this movie amazes me for is I do not know how Michael Moriarty doesn't have like this huge career. Like, he's excellent in anything he does, I think. Sometimes he's a little over the top, but he just, as an actor, he does good to me. Like, everything he does is just so well done. Even like a schlocky movie like, a Mexican deity that takes the form of a winged serpent eating people left and right around New York City. But you get so many like B movie stars in this. You get David Carradine, Richard Roundtree, Moriarty, more or less. It would fall into that category. But it's a fun movie. I mean, all those 80s Larry Cohen movies are, like, to me, like, they're perfect practical effect films. They're just done. They're horror movies for horror fans. Like, I hate saying that phrase over and over again, but you can tell the guys and women who do it to appease, like, they do the fan service. They're going out there to appease their fans, and that's what this film is. I mean, it doesn't take itself serious. I mean, the scene of them finding a giant egg and everything, it takes itself enough serious, though, that it's not like just throwing random shit at you and trying to make you laugh and just because they know you'll watch it. It does enough to keep you hooked in. I mean, the gore is really good. Heads getting bit off, bodies just being like eviscerated, like birds ripping them apart after they're dead and everything. And seeing like 1980s New York is pretty cool. Seeing Chinatown, how it was back in the 80s, all done very well. Another film I like, another rewatch. It's one of the solid movies that you just put on and chill and hang out. And if you've seen it once and you know the gist of the whole movie, I mean, like, you just pick up on other things that might be cool that you like in it. So 6 out of 10 for that one as well. Third movie was The Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf. Now, I like The Howling 1. I think it's an underrated werewolf movie. I think, it gets overshadowed, obviously, by American Werewolf in London, but it did its own. Part 2 is a little more schlocky. You can tell the production wasn't the same, didn't have the same value, but they do make it work. You get more werewolves, obviously. Like, I mean, there's werewolves in countless scenes, more werewolves than you need in a film. And just keep popping up. But I do like how they bring the mythos back to Eastern Europe and everything, and just bringing it, like tying it into old world beliefs, and it just it's a decent movie. I mean, it's not anything like amazing. The best part about it is Sybil Danning. I mean, 1980s hot, like off the charts hot. But just, I mean, there's good gore. I mean, the eye popping scene. But the thing is, the gore it doesn't hold up to today's standards. Like, it's a lot of it practical, and it's very like hokey and obvious. I mean, like, The Thing is a film that has gore that stands up till today's standards. Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, does not. I mean, there's scenes where, like, the eye popping scene is it reminds me of like the Friday the 13th Part 3, the 3D one, when they have the eye popping out, and I mean, you could see the wire come out behind the eye to pop it. So it's not the best movie. Not a bad addition though to the series. I've never went further. Like, I've seen like the late ones, like I think Part 6 or Part 7, which are absolutely terrible. But I never saw like the 3 and 4. I think there's one in there, like the marsupials or something. I don't know, something like that. But it was a good addition to a werewolf movie. If it was by itself, I think it would be a little bit better. But following after Part 1, it does take a hit. I'd only give it a 5 out of 10. Something that, you know, I'd still probably rewatch it, but I don't know if it's like the best rewatch. I mean, it's cool for a werewolf, like I said. Fourth film is a new watch, and something I wanted to see since it was released. That's Tales from the Hood 2. Tales from the Hood 1 is just one of those guilty pleasures. Such a great movie all the way around. Tales from the Hood 2, it felt like they tried to capture the magic and just couldn't get it. They try to beat you over the head with this stuff, and it doesn't work. Like, Tales from the Hood 1 was very subtle. I mean, I know they have the one whole storyline of the government, of the racist politician with the puppets and everything, but other than that, like, it always felt like it was trying to like subtly show you that it's woke and it knows what is going on. And this film is just right over the top, beats you over the head with it, and I mean, it just goes crazy with it. You get a lot more stories. Like, they jam a lot more stories in here, smaller stories. The one thing is, like, the whole wraparound segments aren't in the hood. So that kind of bothered me. You know, Tales from the Hood 1, they are in the hood. You know, they go to a funeral parlor in the hood. Tales from the 2, now they're at some, some research facility and everything, trying to learn about all this stuff going on. And then the storylines, some of them are better than others. They do another puppet one, and they do have cameos from the puppets from the original one, so that's kind of cool to see. I mean, it just, they go a little crazy. And I mean, one thing that bothered me is you couldn't get Joe Torre for this movie. I mean, has Joe Torre done anything since Tales from the Hood 1 to not be in Tales from the Hood 2? I mean, I don't know if his career is booming somewhere other than the United States, but, you know, I haven't heard of him since Def Jam went off TV and Tales from the Hood 1. So it would have been cool to just get a cameo from him and the other guys. Especially like the last segment, you could tell exactly what's happening. I mean, it's written, you know, right in front of you, and you could guess what's going to transpire next and everything. So it would have been cool to have the very end, have an appearance by them and everything. But all in all, I mean, it's not bad. It's nowhere near Tales from the Hood 1. As schlocky and I'm using that word a lot today. As over the top as Tales from the Hood 1 was, Tales from the Hood 2 just doesn't capture that magic. So I'd give it a 5. Maybe 5.5 out of 10. Not a bad film. Good film, probably that you get drunk and watch to just have fun with it. Fifth and final film was A Quiet Place. Now, I've seen this early in the year, so it was a quick rewatch. And the thing that amazes me with this film, and this is with this and Get Out both had, where they're written and directed by people who aren't horror notoriety. Like, they're written by comedians or sitcom stars, and it's crazy that these guys are able to come in, write a script that is phenomenal, direct it, make all the tension and everything, where, I mean, I would say Get Out was probably the best horror film of last year, and A Quiet Place is up there. I mean, I still put Hereditary above it, but, I mean, they both are up there. A Quiet Place, though, I mean, the one good thing is just the extra tension of staying quiet and staying away from the monsters, not letting them hear you, any sound. I mean, the like as soon as they started talking about that you couldn't make any sound, one of the first things I thought of is, what if you have a child? What if you have a baby? Like, how are you gonna do that? And like they explain that basically, and it's just cool to see like how people would live. The one thing I would have liked is if they showed more, if it wasn't just the one family, like if you saw more of how people dealt with this whole situation, how they dealt with other people, being nervous around other people and everything, being afraid of other people possibly, or working with other people. That's the only thing I would have liked to see differently. I don't want a sequel to this. Like, I keep hearing that they're going to make a sequel. I don't think they should make a sequel. I think it should stand alone. I mean, the ending's a little open for interpretation. Like, what is going to happen? Are they going to be able to keep the sound going enough to hurt all the other monsters, or all the other monsters are just going to bum rush her, basically? So, I mean, it is open to interpretation, but, I mean, I think, without a doubt, it's one of the best films of, well, the near future, or near past, I guess. Because I don't remember if it came out the end of last year or beginning of this year. But definitely, other than Hereditary, I mean, probably best film I've watched so far this whole like challenge. 7 out of 10. Great rewatch. Just a good film in general. Everybody's really good at it. The kids are all really good at it. John Krasinski, good actor, good director, good writer, all in it. So it was nice to see like a film like that, like, again, getting from somebody who's not like famous for horror, coming out from like an outside genre. I mean, I'm sure they have to have some bit of horror fandom to do this, to go into a genre like this, but it's just something cool to see. So all in all, good day watching films. A little schlocky, using it again. All the way up to a modern classic, I would say. Not a modern classic. I mean, the word gets thrown around so much. I don't know. But I mean, really, really, really good film. So I'm hitting the 50 mark, and I'm ahead of schedule on that. I think I'll probably hit it tomorrow, actually. If not tomorrow, the day after. So I'm getting around there, and I'm not even halfway through the month. So I'm on pace for 100, which is good. It usually does slow down towards the end of the month, mostly because I'm a little burnt out. I have a Halloween party every year that I help get ready for, even though my wife does way more than I do. And just, there's times when I want to start catching up with stuff. Basketball season starts. I'll like try to see what the Bulls are doing, see if I can like follow along. And then my DVR starts getting full, so I got to start knocking some shows off that I'm saving up. So towards the end of the month, it does die off a little bit, but I usually do enough where I'm ahead of the game, where I'm not like cramming movies in. Like I said, I think this is my, I want to say 11th, 12th year doing this. I've only missed 100 twice, and it was the first two ones I've done. I did 66 and 67. And after that, I hit over 100, and I've hit 100 every year since. So definitely a good day watching film, and I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the flip side.